Disney is a company that I have some very mixed opinions on. On one hand, I think that they and all the studios they own have made some absolutely phenomenal things. Ratatouille and The Lion King are two of my favorite movies of all time, Amphibia is one of my favorite shows of all time, The Tower of Terror is my favorite ride of all time. I could keep on going for a while. However, recently, I feel like the quality of Disney's content has been on somewhat of a decline, with a lot of the things they make now being either okay or really, really bad. Not only that, but the company itself has been showing its evil and greedy side a lot more frequently as of late. Whether it be making what were once free systems cost money, or preventing a mourning family from putting Spider-Man on their child's grave, Disney has not been doing particularly nice things. I've already made a video talking about the current state of Disney, but I kind of want to have another go at this topic. You see, that video is over a year old, and much like around 70% of the videos I've made before the My Friendly Neighborhood one, it is old and bad and stupid. So consider this both a sequel to and a remake of that video, because well, we all know how much Disney loves those two things. I'll split this up into two sections, with the first one being about the content Disney's been putting out recently, and the second being about the company itself, because I have some very strong feelings about them. What do you mean they tried trademarking Dia de los Muertos in 2013? That's a holiday, you can't do that. What's wrong with you, Bob?
It's time for growth, let's roll a boat! Take total control!
If I were to describe Disney's new content in one word, I would say that it's a mixed bag. That's two words. I think the output coming from Walt Disney Animation Studios is easily what makes me the most disappointed and sad. Everything they make now is either just fine or bad. Sure, they're not responsible for the worst things that Disney makes nowadays, but they used to be responsible for some absolutely phenomenal movies that built the childhoods of many people, including myself, so it's a shame they don't reach the same level of quality that they used to. Ever since Ralph Breaks the Internet, they've gone on a downhill trajectory, making only one movie I consider to be great, that being Encanto. It's almost as if Ralph Breaks the Internet cursed the studio, which you know what? It's probably what happened. That being said, while I have yet to see Zootopia 2, I hear that it's actually really good, and it's been the only Disney movie in a while that I've been genuinely interested in seeing. I like Gary D. Snake. Snake characters are cool. Also, the trailers for the movie had some funny jokes, which surprised me. I didn't think I'd laugh at a Disney movie again after witnessing all the hilarious jokes in Wish.
Oh, good find, Valentino.
My butt found it.
Zootopia 2 is not a musical, which I am very thankful for, because the more recent Disney songs are... how would I put this? Very bad. I mean, back in the day, they would make consistently great songs. Be prepared, be our guest, one little slip from everyone's favorite movie, Chicken Little. But they don't really make good songs like that nowadays. And by nowadays, I mean since like 2 years ago. It's not really that long of a time when you think about it. Moana 2 songs were fine, I guess. None of them stood out to me, but I remember the Matangi song being good. I couldn't tell you why it was good, because the lyrics to every single one of these songs has turned to sand and faded from my memory, which is the complete opposite of what a song should do. These things are kind of supposed to stay in your brain for a while. From a quality perspective, I think the songs in Moana 2 are better than the ones in Wish, but someone could make the argument that having mediocre and unmemorable songs is worse than having incredibly bad songs that can actually be remembered. And that someone is me. Say what you want about Wish's music, I know I have, but at least the songs are memorable, even if I'm just remembering how bad they are. This Is the Things I Get is one of my favorite punching bags on this channel, aside from FNAF Security Breach, except at least I actually like that game. I think this song sucks. I remember it was kind of criticized for being so upbeat, despite it being a villain song, but I do not think that's why it is so bad. Once we get up there from Hazbin Hotel proves that upbeat villain songs can in fact be good. This Is the Things I Get is bad because one of the lyrics is, I let you live here for free and I don't even charge you rent. Yeah, that's what letting a person live free somewhere means. One can only assume that King Magnifico is stupid. It's kind of a shame that Disney's animated output hasn't been the best recently, because these movies are what I most associate with the company. When I think of Disney, I think of The Lion King, not The Lion King. In many ways, animation used to be the lifeblood of Disney, but now, I don't really think that's the case. Currently, the only movies Walt Disney Animation Studios has announced for the future are Frozen 3, Frozen 4, and Hex. I do not care for the Frozens, but Hex looks interesting. All we have for now is concept art and a brief synopsis, but I've got high hopes for it, especially since Zootopia 2 is seemingly a good movie. Moving on to what Marvel has been doing, they've made 3 movies since my last video, those being Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four First Steps. Captain America was okay, Thunderbolts was really good, and Fantastic Four was, for lack of a better term, fun. It was a fun movie. Superman was better though. Honestly, I think Marvel's output since Endgame has just been okay, with a couple of movies here and there that are fantastic. like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm not really sure why so many people treat new Marvel movies as if they were the worst things ever created. I swear, Brave New World is not that bad, you guys. The only movies I genuinely dislike are Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels, but I don't even hate them or anything, I just think they're very boring. Aside from movies though, Marvel has been making lots and lots of shows, a bit too many of them actually. I'd love to give my thoughts on every single one of these, but the thing is, I've only watched like 3 of them, and even then, I haven't started Loki Season 2, I keep forgetting. In my last video, I said that I wasn't watching Marvel shows because I was too busy with Young Sheldon, but now I can't watch them because I'm too busy watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Slow down with the new releases, Kevin Feige. I want to keep up with the Marvel lore, but I also want to tune into Charles Boyle's silly antics. I did enjoy WandaVision and Loki Season 1, but I felt that Hawkeye and Winter Soldier were okay, probably because I usually prefer the more sci-fi stuff that Marvel puts out. I've heard mixed things about the other Marvel shows. Apparently Loki Season 2, Agatha All Along, X-Men 97, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man are great, while the other shows are just alright. Don't take what I say as gospel though. Again, I haven't watched any of these. I'm just going off of what I heard. Secret Invasion is a show that I refuse to watch though, thanks to the fact that it uses generative AI in the intro. This is gonna come back later in the video, by the way. They brought back Robert Downey Jr. to play Mr. Frog or whatever, but they have done a horrible job at building him up because he literally just showed up for the first time, so Doomsday is probably gonna be a mess. I guess I should talk about what Lucasfilm has been up to with Star Wars, but the thing is, I don't actually care. Star Wars is a weird franchise for me. I really like its universe and its slant at the Disney parks, but at the same time, I'm not really a massive fan of the movies. I liked Revenge of the Sith, but that was mostly because all the memes that have come from that movie have rotted my brain. Speaking of Star Wars movies, they keep on getting cancelled for some reason, with the most recent example of this being the Kylo Ren movie. This one got axed because Bob Iger didn't understand how Kylo Ren was still alive after dying in Rise of Skywalker. He says that as if Palpatine didn't pull a William Afton in that exact same movie.
Hello, everybody. It is me, yes. William Afton.
The one Star Wars movie we are getting is Mandalorian and Grogu. I started watching the trailer for this one before I remembered that I didn't care and clicked off. Jeremy Allen White is apparently going to be in this though, so I don't know, that's cool I guess. New Star Wars content has mostly come in the form of shows, and much like the Marvel ones, I haven't watched many of them. But unlike the Marvel ones, I don't want to, with one exception, that being Andor. I've seen Obi-Wan Kenobi and the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and I thought they were good, especially The Mandalorian. Apparently season 3 of that show is bad, but I'm not sure how true that can be when Jack Black is in it. Nothing with Chicken Jockey Guy can be truly awful. I tried watching the Book of Boba Fett, but I stopped watching it after the first episode because it was really boring. From what I've heard, with the exception of again Andor, the other shows aren't good, but with Star Wars, I found that it's hard to tell who's trying to give a genuine critique and who just hates women. The same thing applies to Marvel actually. I guess I should mention the Galactic Star Cruiser, which was a Star Wars hotel Disney opened in Disney World. They closed it in less than a year, which would have been really funny if it weren't for the fact that a bunch of people probably lost their jobs. I think that Pixar is the only one of Disney studios to still consistently make good stuff. The worst thing they've made recently is Lightyear, and even then, I don't think it's a bad movie or anything, just underwhelming. The newest movie was Elio, which flopped at the box office, and I think that's a shame. Sure, I think it's one of Pixar's weaker recent movies, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. The ending was very amphibia-coded, which I liked. Luca is honestly one of my favorite Pixar movies in general. It's so fun and charming. It's one of those movies I can watch again and again without getting tired of it. Onward, Soul, and Turning Red aren't as good as Luca, but again, I still really enjoyed them, especially Soul. I forgot to put this in the script because I forgot this movie existed, but I heard Elemental was pretty good, so cool I guess. I don't know, I haven't watched it. They also released their first ever original show on Disney Plus, that being Win or Lose, and I think it's great, even if the finale felt kind of rushed. I think they tried to wrap up 200 character storylines in too short of a time. Also, the show kind of peaked in episode 2, but the rest was still good. I know I've been saying lots of nice things about Pixar, but I am not excited for their upcoming movies, with the exception of Hoppers and Gato. Gato has some nice concept art, and Hoppers is being directed by the same guy that made We Bare Bears. I like that show. Other than that though, Pixar has announced that they're making The Incredibles 3, Coco 2, and Toy Story 5. What? Incredibles 3 is the one I mind the least. I don't think we needed another one of these, but I also like the second one, so sure, why not? Coco 2 is just stupid. The first one was a pretty self-contained movie that left no room for a sequel. Everyone completed their character arcs and Coco died. It was a happy ending for the whole gang. We don't need more. Toy Story 5 is the movie that I am the least excited for. This franchise has already had 2 final movies. Stop making them, please. Toy Story 3's ending was absolutely phenomenal. Look at me and my original opinions, everyone. Toy Story 4 undid that ending, which I did not appreciate. But I still like how this movie ends, with Woody deciding to stay with Bo Peep at the Fall Fest or whatever, while Buzz, Jessie, and the rest of the toys go back with Bonnie. This is a pretty final conclusion, as the 2 main characters are separated, but now in Toy Story 5, they're just back together? How? Why? What was the point of making a sad separation scene if it was gonna be undone in the next movie? Was it just to make $1 billion? Yeah, the main villain will be an iPad. There's a very high chance this is going to be another Ralph Breaks the Internet or Emoji Movie situation, and I am not looking forward to that. I can't talk about Disney's new content without talking about their very well-received live-action remakes, because they just love making these. I've only watched Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, and Mulan, and none of them were good. They're literally just the originals, but without their joy and whimsy. Why do these movies lack color? Bring it back, please. The Lion King and Mulan are especially bland. Mulan is rated PG-13, meaning that it's an edgy and serious movie. So they removed Mushu because he's just too darn silly and unrealistic. But they also added a knockoff Ida the Owl Lady, which is weird, because that's also unrealistic, and I thought Disney hated the Owl House. The Lion King 2019 is the most visually uninteresting movie I have ever seen in my life. They wanted this to look like a National Geographic documentary, which is a stupid thing to go for in a silly talking animal movie. Why did they do this? Of course, it still made $1 billion because all that's needed to sell tickets nowadays is nostalgia bait. Hooray! And boy, does Disney have so much nostalgia to bait. Rome wasn't built in a day after all. The Lion King was so successful that it got a prequel called Mufasa, which came out at the same time as and made more money than Sonic 3. This is a shame because Sonic 3 has Shadow the Hedgehog and Wade Whipple, while Mufasa doesn't. Something is wrong with this world. Moana is getting a live action remake even though it came out less than 10 years ago. Seriously, what are we doing here? What's the point? Money. It's money. Mark my words, once Disney runs out of movies to remake, they'll be forced to make a live-action Chicken Little. This will happen. All roads lead to Rome. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I mentioned Rome in this video, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but Disney would still kill me for them. Overall, Disney's recent content has been inconsistent to say the least. I know I didn't mention things like Tron Ares or the Avatar movies, but I honestly don't have anything to say about them. Tron Ares stars Jared Leto. I am not watching that movie. It's too darn scary.
If you want it, just take it. The world's yours, don't waste it. Go make the stars align.
I am not exaggerating when I say that I think Disney is one of the most evil and greedy companies out there. If they could, they'd charge people for oxygen at their parks like the mean little short guy from the Lorax. Nearly every single decision they make now is so bad. This is a company with no soul. A good example of Disney's evil practices is that recently, our good friend Bob Iger announced that Disney Plus will start utilizing generative AI. Awesome! I wasn't originally going to make this video since I wanted to spend time playing Hollow Knight for a long retrospective I want to do about it, but this announcement made me change my mind. So screw you, Bob, for stopping me from playing Hollow Knight. The other thing is that we're really excited about that AI is going to give us the ability to do is to provide users of Disney Plus with a much more engaged experience, said Iger, including the ability for them to create user-generated content and to consume user-generated content, mostly short form, from others. Oh boy, not only are we getting AI generated content, but it's coming in the form of shorts too. I can hardly contain my excitement! I already made a video about why I do not like AI, so let me briefly explain my reasons to you. First of all, a software being trained off of people's art without their consent is bad and thievery. Second of all, art not made by humans is stupid and pointless. You see, art is a manifestation of a person's experiences and interests that they spend hours of their lives creating. It's special for those very reasons. When a soulless AI tries to make art, it ends up coming out, well, soulless. There's no intent behind the art. There's no deeper meaning the creator put behind it because, well, there is no creator. Just some guy telling his computer to generate tunk sahur. It's nothing. Oh yeah, AI also puts people out of a job, so that's not good. Say what you want about Illumination and its minions, but they never do this. Speaking of Disney Plus, I should probably mention the incident back in 2024 where someone died at a restaurant in Disney Springs and Disney tried getting the lawsuit for a grieving husband thrown out of court because they had a Disney Plus subscription. Keep in mind, the lawsuit was for $50,000, which is pennies to Disney. That's literally the same amount Verbilis paid for his infamous Hazbin Hotel animation. Disney had no reason not to pay up. I've seen some people say that the incident wasn't Disney's fault since it happened at a restaurant they don't technically own, and I can kind of see the logic in that. However, this doesn't change the fact that it pretty much had an anti-lawsuit agreement in the terms and services of Disney Plus and refused to give the cost of Bob Iger's breakfast to a person who just lost their wife. What? In 2019, Disney wouldn't allow a family to put Spider-Man on their dead son's grave in order to, quote, preserve the innocence and magic of their characters. Ignore the fact that it's part of the Spider-Man lore that someone important to him needs to die for his universe to even exist. Why would Disney say no to this family? Do they not have a heart? You already know the answer to that. One time in 2013, Disney tried trademarking the holiday Dia de los Muertos. What made them think they could do this? Inside Out 2 was a great movie, but once it was nearly complete, Pixar fired over 100 of the employees that worked on it, many of which went through severe crunch to meet deadlines. This movie made over $1 billion. Pixar definitely could have afforded to keep these people on board. And the biggest thing I want to talk about is the fact that in May of this year, Disney announced that they're planning on opening a theme park in Abu Dhabi. So, Abu Dhabi is an interesting place, because while I'm sure the people living there are lovely, the government is a complete opposite of that. Keep in mind, this park is being developed alongside said government. See, there's a bunch of wacky things that they've made illegal there, like public displays of affection. Of course, this shouldn't be a problem for me. I have no aura, as the kids say, and if I try to ask my crush out, I'd probably just spontaneously combust or something. However, there are people actually in relationships, and, you know, I don't think it should be illegal for them to hold hands or whatever. And of course, I can't forget to mention the fact that the government there does not approve of people in the queer community. They will happily arrest any gay person they see because homosexuality is bad for reasons, I don't know. You know, something I find kind of strange is that every Pride Month, Disney will make millions of Rainbow Mickey Mouse plushies, but the second they get the opportunity to make a whole lot of money in a place with a government that would probably burn the Rainbow Mickey Mouse, they do it. Again, that's super strange, but you know what? I've seen weirder stuff. You know, it's almost as if Disney doesn't actually care about making queer people feel represented and only pretends to for the money. This is why the lesbian kiss in Lightyear is treated like it's an Easter egg in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Disney does not care about you. They do not care about their own employees. They do not care about making the world a better place. They care about making a profit so that the higher-ups can buy more mansions, and they will forego any morals to do so. There are so many good and talented people working at Disney, but unfortunately, none of the people in charge of the company can be described in that way, and that's a shame. In conclusion, a part of me will always love Disney. Like I said near the start of the video, they were a significant part of my childhood. But that being said, just because I have fond memories of them, doesn't mean I can look past their drop-off in quality or evil business practices. The altruism of one's past doesn't atone for the sins of their present. That sounds like something Sans Undertale would say before killing Frisk. Unless there's some significant shakeup in management, Disney is not going to change. They're going to keep being greedy and keep being unethical. The only silver lining is that, again, there's plenty of incredibly talented people there that want to make genuinely good things. I mean, sure, Disney's probably going to replace them with AI the second they're able to, but let's look on the bright side for now, shall we? I originally wanted to talk about the theme parks as well, but this video was getting way too long, so who knows? Maybe I'll make a completely separate video about those. Big emphasis on the word maybe. Now, if you excuse me, I've got to go rewatch The Lion King. I absolutely love that movie, which is funny because I hate The Lion King. Bye, I guess.